Have you ever noticed how exhausting it is to live your life like you're constantly being watched, judged, rated, and silently reviewed by people who are probably not even thinking about you as much as you think they are? Because honestly, I think one of the biggest traps we fall into is believing that everyone else's perception of us is somehow our responsibility. Like we have to manage it, fix it, explain it, polish it, and make sure nobody gets the wrong idea about who we are. And that is such a tiring way to live. I remember there was a time when I would overthink everything, and I mean everything, from how I replied to a message, to how I acted in a group, to whether I sounded too confident, too quiet, or not ambitious enough. And the funny thing is, no matter how much I tried to be understood perfectly, someone would still misunderstand me anyway. And that's when it kind of hit me that peace doesn't come from making sure everybody sees you correctly, because people are going to see you through their own experiences, insecurities, and sometimes, let's be honest, through their own nonsense. So the real question is not, how do I make everyone understand me? The real question is, how long am I going to keep auditioning for approval from people who are not even living my life? Because your life radically changes once you understand that their perception of you is not your responsibility. You don't have to change it, you don't have to chase it, and you definitely don't have to live up to some version of you that only exists in someone else's head. And what makes this even more confusing is that sometimes the things we call healthy habits are actually just another way of trying to become more acceptable to other people, and we don't even realize it because we dress it up as growth, discipline, or healing. For example, let's talk about constant self-improvement, because on the surface, that sounds amazing, right? You're working on yourself, you're reading the books, watching the podcasts, and trying to become better every single day. And there's nothing wrong with growth, but at some point you have to ask yourself, am I improving because I love myself, or am I improving because deep down I feel like I'm still not enough? Because if you are always trying to become better from a place of self-hatred, then self-improvement slowly becomes self-rejection. Think about it. If every single day you wake up with the mindset that you need to fix yourself before you can relax, before you can feel proud, then you're not really growing. You're just running away from the fear that the current version of you is not worthy yet. Growth is good, but constantly treating yourself like a project that needs emergency repair is not peace. It's pressure. And then there's the whole always stay positive thing, which sounds nice until you realize that forced positivity is sometimes just denial with a smile painted on its face. Like, yes, mindset matters, and yes, gratitude is powerful, but pretending everything is fine when you're clearly not fine does not make you strong. It just makes you emotionally constipated. Real strength is being able to say, this sucks right now, I'm not okay with it, I'm hurt, I'm tired, I'm disappointed, but I'm still gonna keep going. That is way more honest than acting like every painful situation is secretly a blessing while your nervous system is basically screaming in the background. And this is where a lot of us get trapped again, because we don't want people to think we're negative or weak, so we perform happiness. And then we wonder why we feel so disconnected from ourselves. But you cannot heal what you keep pretending doesn't hurt. Another habit that sounds healthy but can become toxic is saying yes to every opportunity, because people love to tell you that every opportunity is a blessing and every chance must be taken. But honestly, if everything matters, then nothing does. Not every opportunity is aligned with your life. Not every invitation deserves your energy, and not every open door is meant for you to walk through. Sometimes saying yes to everything is not ambition, it is fear. Fear of missing out, fear of disappointing people, fear that if you don't take this one chance, then nothing good will ever come again. But the truth is, your energy is not unlimited, and your attention is not unlimited. So if you keep giving pieces of yourself to everything and everyone, eventually you will have nothing meaningful left for the things that actually matter. And then we have another one that people love to romanticize, cutting everyone off for peace. Now listen, some people absolutely need to be removed from your life because not everybody deserves access to you, and some relationships are genuinely toxic, draining, disrespectful, or just not good for your mental health. But cutting people off every time there is discomfort, conflict, misunderstanding, or emotional responsibility is not always healing. Sometimes it is avoidance, sometimes it is you running away from a conversation that could have helped you grow. Peace does not always come from isolation. Sometimes peace comes from learning how to set boundaries without burning every bridge, learning how to say, that hurt me, instead of disappearing, and learning how to protect your energy without acting like every person who disappoints you is automatically your enemy. Because healing is not just about removing people from your life, it is also about learning how to relate to people without abandoning yourself. And finally, let's talk about overanalyzing your emotions, because self-awareness is great until it becomes self-obsession. There is a point where thinking about your feelings feelings, stops being helpful, and starts becoming another way to avoid action. You can journal about the same problem for 6 months, talk about it with 5 different friends, watch every video about attachment styles, but if you never actually change your behavior, then all that awareness just becomes decoration. Knowing why you're stuck is useful, but eventually you have to move. Knowing why you accept less than you deserve is useful, but eventually you have to stop accepting it. Knowing why you care so much about people's opinions is useful, but eventually you have to practice living without asking the imaginary audience in your head for permission. And I think that is the deeper point here. A lot of what we call growth is sometimes just performance. We want to look healed and look like we have everything figured out, but real peace is not about looking like anything. Real peace is when you stop needing people to approve of your healing before you believe it is real. It is when you stop explaining yourself to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. It is when you stop trying to become a version of yourself that gets applause from everyone but feels empty when you're alone. And I'll be honest, this is not something you just understand once and magically become free forever. Because even when you know better, there will still be moments where you want to be liked, where someone's opinion gets under your skin, where you feel tempted to prove yourself, defend yourself, or post something just to show people you're doing fine. That's normal. But the difference is, now you can catch yourself. You can pause and ask, am I doing this because it feels true to me, or am I doing this because I want to control how they see me? And that one question can save you from a lot of fake peace. So here's the challenge. This week, pay attention to where you are, what you are performing instead of living. Pay attention to where you are improving yourself because you feel inspired, and where you are improving yourself because you feel unworthy. Pay attention to where you are staying positive because you genuinely have hope, and where you are just pretending you're fine because you don't want to make anyone uncomfortable. Pay attention to where you are saying yes because you actually want to, and where you are saying yes because you are scared of what people will think if you say no, because the peace you want is not hiding in their approval. It is not hiding in being perfectly understood, perfectly healed, perfectly productive, perfectly positive, or perfectly liked. It starts when you finally stop auditioning for a role you never even wanted to play. So if you take anything from this, remember this. Your job is not to control their perception of you. Your job is to live in a way that feels honest when nobody is clapping. And if this hit a little too close to home, drop a comment and tell me which one you needed to hear today, because I already know at least one of these called you out. Thanks for watching, guys. If this gives you something to think about, like the video, subscribe for more, and I'll see you in the next one.